These are the survival methods that keep Navy SEALs operational during months-long deployments where failure means death. At Naval Amphibious Base Coronado in California, where BUD/S training produces only 2,700 active-duty operators from thousands of candidates, these warriors master techniques that allow them to thrive on minimal rest, survive on field rations, and maintain peak performance for 6 to 8 months in hostile environments. Navy SEALs from SEAL Team 1, SEAL Team 2, and the Elite SEAL Team 6, also known as DevGRU, represent the pinnacle of military endurance. With an 80% failure rate before graduation from basic underwater demolition/SEAL training, these operators undergo preparation so brutal that most people can't comprehend it. But the real test isn't Hell Week at Coronado, it's what happens after, when they deploy for months at a time with no backup, no comfort, and no room for weakness. Let's start with sleep, because everything else depends on it. When you're operating behind enemy lines for months, traditional sleep patterns become a luxury you can't afford. Navy SEALs have developed an arsenal of sleep techniques that sound impossible but work with scientific precision. The foundation is the military sleep method, first documented in Lloyd Budwinter's 1981 book, Relax and Win Championship Performance, but refined through decades of combat operations, including missions like Operation Neptune Spear. This technique allows SEALs to fall asleep within 2 minutes, anywhere, under any conditions. Here's how it works. You start by relaxing your face muscles completely, your forehead, eyes, cheeks, jaw, even your tongue. Then you drop your shoulders as low as they'll go, releasing tension in your neck and upper back. Your arms follow, going completely limp at your sides. Next comes the torso. You exhale deeply and let your chest fall naturally, then relax your legs starting with your thighs and moving down to your calves, ankles, and feet. The final step is mental. You clear your mind by visualizing one of 3 scenarios: lying in a canoe on calm water under clear skies, lying in a black velvet hammock in a pitch-dark room, or simply repeating, don't think, for 10 seconds. After 6 weeks of practice, 96% of soldiers using this method could fall asleep within 2 minutes. For SEALs on deployment, this isn't just useful, it's survival. But what about when you only have 8 to 10 minutes for rest? SEALs use what's called the Navy SEAL power nap technique, also known as the Z position. You lie on the floor at the edge of a bed and elevate your legs at a 90 to 120 degree angle on the bed. This position optimizes blood flow and creates a restorative state that makes an 8-minute nap feel like 6 hours of sleep. During extreme operations, SEALs sometimes employ the Uberman sleep cycle, an extreme polyphasic schedule where you take a 20-minute nap every 4 hours, totaling just 2 hours of sleep per day. This pushes human physiology to its absolute limits and can only be sustained for short periods, but it's proven effective for critical missions where conventional sleep schedules are impossible. And the psychological component of sleep management is just as crucial as the physical techniques. SEALs use the 6-hour mental block strategy, breaking impossibly long missions into manageable chunks focused only on reaching the next meal. Instead of thinking about completing a month-long deployment, they focus solely on making it to the next time they'll eat. This mental compartmentalization prevents the overwhelming nature of long-term operations from crushing morale. We see this strategy's importance during BUD/S Hell Week, where candidates operate for 5.5 days on only 4 total hours of sleep. Those who survive don't do it through superior physical conditioning, they master the mental game. As instructors often say, it's their minds that give up on them, not their bodies. Sleep deprivation creates real dangers. After 24 hours without sleep, the brain begins exhibiting symptoms similar to schizophrenia. Hell Week candidates regularly hallucinate, seeing tiny people in the sand or mistaking their rubber boats for luxury cars. One SEAL described mistaking a fellow trainee in diving gear for an actual SEAL during the Around the World evolution, nearly striking him with a paddle in panic. But SEALs prepare for these effects. They use box breathing, also called tactical breathing, a technique popularized by former Navy SEAL commander Mark Devine through his SEAL Fit training methodology. The technique involves inhaling through your nose for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding again for 4, visualizing drawing a square with each breath cycle. This method activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress hormones and maintaining cognitive function even under extreme fatigue. This breathing technique traces back to the legacy of underwater demolition teams, the predecessors to modern SEALs, who developed early stress management protocols that evolved into today's tactical breathing methods. Now let's examine how SEALs fuel their bodies during months of deployment. Nutrition becomes critical when you're burning 4,000 to 5,500 calories per day in combat conditions. During Hell Week alone, candidates burn over 8,000 calories daily while consuming whatever they can get. The foundation of SEAL nutrition follows a precise macronutrient formula: 50% carbohydrates for immediate energy, 30% protein for muscle maintenance and recovery, and 20% fats for sustained energy and hormone production. This ratio has been refined through decades of research, including comprehensive studies of 267 SEAL trainees that found optimal performance occurred when energy intake averaged 3,886 calories daily with these exact proportions. On deployment, SEALs typically eat 4 to 5 meals per day to maintain stable blood sugar and avoid energy crashes. This frequent eating pattern prevents the energy roller coaster that would be catastrophic during operations where alertness can mean survival. Field rations form the backbone of deployment nutrition. The standard meal ready to eat provides 1,285 calories with 40 grams of protein, 176 grams of carbohydrates, and 47 grams of fat. While these numbers seem modest, MREs are designed for consumption alongside other food sources. Warfighters can survive on MREs alone for up to 21 days, but longer deployments require supplementation. For special operations, the military developed the First Strike ration, providing 2,900 calories in a more compact package designed for high-mobility missions. These rations contain 91 grams of protein, 421 grams of carbohydrates, and 98 grams of fat, optimized for operators who need maximum nutrition with minimal weight. And the most advanced field nutrition comes in the form of the RLW-30 ration, specifically designed for special operations forces. Weighing less than 1 pound, this dehydrated ration provides 2,100 calories and can be eaten with minimal preparation. For SEALs operating behind enemy lines where cooking fires or extended meal breaks aren't possible, these rations provide life-sustaining nutrition in the smallest possible package. Hydration presents its own challenges during extended deployments. SEALs must consume at least 3 liters of water daily for men and 2.2 liters for women, but operational requirements often make regular water intake difficult. They're trained to front-load hydration when possible and recognize early dehydration symptoms that could compromise mission effectiveness. During Hell Week, the relationship between food and survival becomes starkly apparent. Trainees receive unlimited quantities of hot food 4 times daily, sometimes MREs, but usually hot meals. Eating hot food serves dual purposes, providing necessary calories and offering psychological comfort to exhausted candidates. The warmth substitutes for being dry and warm, providing a crucial mental boost. However, extreme fatigue creates its own challenges. Hell Week candidates regularly fall asleep in their food or while eating. Others fall asleep while paddling boats and must be pulled from the water by teammates. The line between nutrition and survival becomes razor thin. The psychological aspects of eating during deployment can't be overlooked. SEALs are taught that meals serve as mental reset points, brief moments where teams can regroup, assess situations, and maintain morale. The act of sharing food builds unit cohesion that becomes critical during the darkest moments of long deployments. But nutrition isn't just about calories and macronutrients. Recent investigations revealed concerning trends in SEAL training and deployment practices. Between March 2023 and January 2024, testing revealed performance-enhancing drug use among candidates, with 6 confirmed positive tests out of 1,817 candidates tested. This highlights the extreme pressures SEALs face to maintain peak performance levels that push human physiology beyond normal limits. The death of candidate Kyle Mullen in February 2022, shortly after completing Hell Week, sparked comprehensive reviews of SEAL training and deployment practices. Mullen died of acute pneumonia, leading to significant policy changes, including prophylactic antibiotics and enhanced medical screening. However, the Department of Defense Inspector General found that the Navy still lacks a policy on the intentional use of sleep deprivation practices. This controversy reveals the tension between necessary training rigor and human limits. As the Inspector General noted, sleep deprivation practices are operationally relevant, because SEALs must function effectively when exhausted because enemy forces don't respect sleep schedules. But current sleep deprivation protocols are based more on tradition than scientific policy, with specific rationales for timing and duration poorly documented. Modern deployments present unique challenges that previous generations of SEALs never faced. Current deployment cycles last 6 to 8 months, part of an 18-month training cycle where teams spend 6 months in individual training and another 6 months in team training before deploying. This cycle creates sustained pressure where teams must maintain peak readiness for extended periods. The mental toughness required for these deployments goes far beyond physical endurance. SEALs develop what's called the don't quit mentality through structured suffering and mental preparation techniques. Visualization exercises help them mentally rehearse responses to potential challenges, whether combat situations or equipment failures. Teamwork becomes essential during extended deployments. As SEAL instructors emphasize, you cannot survive Hell Week alone, and this principle extends to deployment operations. SEALs are evaluated not just on individual performance, but on their ability to lead when miserable and support teammates when they're failing. The boat crew concept from training translates directly to deployment team dynamics. The breathing techniques learned in training become daily survival tools on deployment. Box breathing helps manage stress during firefights, while tactical breathing maintains focus during long surveillance operations. These aren't just training exercises, they're practical tools that mean the difference between mission success and failure. Looking at the numbers reveals the extraordinary nature of SEAL operations. With approximately 9,200 total personnel supporting only 2,700 active operators, the SEAL community represents one of the most selective military forces ever created. Each operator requires over 2.5 years of training before their first deployment, and the 68% attrition rate in BUD/S alone demonstrates the physical and mental demands these warriors must meet. The legacy of Richard Marcinko, founder of SEAL Team 6, established many of the extreme training protocols that continue today. His emphasis on mental toughness over physical strength shaped modern SEAL selection and deployment preparation. Recent changes to BUD/S training reflect lessons learned from deployment experiences. The Navy has implemented 14 major changes ranging from enhanced medical protocols to more robust health screenings. However, these changes must balance safety improvements with the need to prepare SEALs for deployment conditions where medical support may be limited or non-existent. The future of SEAL deployment survival continues evolving. Current studies are developing formal policies for sleep deprivation training, while nutritional research refines field ration compositions for optimal performance. Medical protocols are being enhanced to better support extended operations while maintaining the realistic training conditions that prepare SEALs for actual deployment challenges. What emerges from examining SEAL deployment survival techniques is a comprehensive system where sleep, nutrition, and mental toughness integrate into something greater than their individual parts. These aren't just military techniques, they're proven methods for human performance optimization under the most demanding conditions imaginable. The sleep techniques alone, the military sleep method, tactical breathing, and strategic napping, represent decades of refinement in human performance science. The nutrition protocols demonstrate how proper fueling enables sustained high-level performance even when operating on minimal calories. And the mental toughness strategies show how psychological preparation can overcome seemingly impossible physical challenges. For months at a time in conditions that would break most people within days, Navy SEALs maintain peak performance through these integrated survival systems. They sleep when others can't, eat what others won't, and continue operating when others would quit. Their deployment survival techniques represent the absolute pinnacle of human endurance capability, refined through decades of combat experience and scientific research. Those who earn the Navy SEAL Trident understand that these methods transform ordinary humans into warriors capable of operating for months in conditions that would seem impossible to survive, let alone excel in. And they work because they're based not on superhuman abilities, but on perfected applications of human physiology and psychology pushed to their absolute limits.